Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Sri Sadguru Paramatmane Namaha. Sarva Maharshibhyo Namaha. The Lord accepts any little thing offered to him with devotion. 26th sloka. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachyati tadaham bhaktyupahrutam ashnami prayatatmanaha. Substance. Whoever offers me with devotion a leaf, a fruit, a flower, or water, that I accept of the pure-minded man offered with devotion. Commentary. This verse is very important for all the aspirants. In the previous verse, it was stated that the worshipper invariably goes to the object of his worship. If the Lord is the objective, the worshipper reaches him. The same discipline and devotion needed for the worship of other devas is enough to please the Lord. This being so, why should we have a lesser or lower objective than the Lord himself? The Lord explains the very easy nature of his worship. No elaborate sacrifices are needed. No large charities are needed. No great offerings are needed. A leaf, a flower, or a fruit, or even water is enough to please the Lord. And when the Lord is pleased, all the devas, pitrus, and bhutas are pleased. All the rewards which the worshippers hope to derive from the worship of the devas are derived by the worship of Paramatma. And his worship is absolutely within the reach of every human being. Two conditions are stated here. The giver should be pure-minded. The offering should be made with devotion. Kingdom, treasures, and empires do not satisfy the Lord. When there is no purity and devotion, where these are, even a leaf or a fruit is enough to draw the grace of Lord. He is pleased and satisfied with such offerings when the worshipper is a true bhakta. Lord Krishna did not accept the hospitality of the proud Duryodhana, but dined with the humble Vidura. The dried corn offered by Kuchela was accepted by the Lord with great pleasure, and the reward with which he received is well known to all. What is required is purity of heart and true devotion. Even the humblest and the most ignorant man receives God's grace by purity and devotion. The richest and the most powerful shall have to go without it if they are arrogant and self-indulgent. That is why one comes across some learned scholars plunged in the mire of samsara in spite of their shastric learning. That is why kings and emperors have sought refuge in the fate of sages in their troubles and sorrows. The Lord teaches Arjuna to offer all he does to him. 27th Shloka. Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat juhoshi vidadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, yatat kurushva madarpanam. Substance. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer in sacrifice, whatever you give as charity, whatever you perform as austerity, that all do as offering unto me. Commentary. The Lord teaches Arjuna to cultivate the basic attitude of mind which enables him to offer whatever he does to the Lord alone. Everything should be offered to the Lord: the food eaten, the sacrifice made, and the austerity performed. In fact, all the activities of life should be offered unto the Lord without the expectation of any personal reward. The action and the fruits of action should be surrendered to the Lord with a loving heart. Yat karoshi, this does not mean bad actions. Yadashnasi, this does not mean prohibited food. Man has to do some work in the world, and instead of binding himself with that, the Lord instructs that it should be surrendered to him. In the spirit of Sri Krishnarpanamastu or Brahmarpanamastu. By such surrender, man escapes the bondage of karma and also acquires God's grace. This indeed is an easy path to liberation. To the householders, particularly, this method is of great help in their spiritual advancement. The devotee should make self surrender to the Lord, whatever he is doing. Question: how should man work? Answer: whatever he does should be surrendered to the Lord. Question: what is the effect? Answer: he is freed from the bondage of karma, obtains God's grace. The effect of surrender to the Lord is declared. 28th sloka. शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः संन्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि. Substance. Thus you shall be liberated from bonds of action yielding good and evil fruits. With steadfast mind in the yoga of renunciation, you shall come to me by being set free from karma. Commentary. It is clear that the Lord is teaching the renunciation of the fruits of action and not the renunciation of actions. Sannyasa here means renunciation of the fruit of action. Such a man who practices renunciation of the fruit of action, karma phalatyaga, is freed from all the bonds of karma. The term moksha is frequently used by all people. What does it mean? Where is the moksha? Here is the meaning for it. Freedom from bondage is moksha. What is this bondage? The bondage of karma done by man with a sense of personal doership and desire for its fruits. To give up the fruits of karma to God is moksha. It is sannyasa. From the point of view of self realization, both evil and good are in the realm of the unreal. But the seeker has to release himself from the evil first and then give up good also. Then he reaches the nirvikalpa state. This is the surest way to liberation and union with the Lord. Question: how can man free himself from the bond of karma? Answer: by surrendering all actions to the Lord, man is freed from karma and obtains God's grace. The Lord declares that He is the same to all. 29th sloka. Sammoham sarvabhuteshu na me dveshosti na priyaha yo ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayi te teshu chapyaham. Substance. The same am I to all beings. There is none hateful or dear to me. Those verily who worship me with devotion, they are in me and I am also in them. Commentary. This declaration of the Lord that He is the same to all beings should be carefully noted by all aspirants. The Lord does not hate any being, nor is any being dear to Him. His grace is overflowing for all people. To make Him responsible for the good and evil things that come to man in the course of his life is utter nonsense, and yet even learned people are so deluded that they complain against God in moments of crisis and calamity. The Lord has nothing to do with the ups and downs, losses and gains, pleasures and pains of all beings. Each one reaps the fruits of his own thoughts and actions. One reaps that what he sows. The law is universal and eternal. Let the seeker realize the full responsibility for the good and bad that comes to him. Let him never shift the balance or blame to anyone else. Though the Lord is the same to all beings, they are not all the same to him. Hatred and malice lead people into evil, and this evil causes sorrow and misery. Some enlightened souls avoid such thoughts and feelings and cultivate an attitude of love and friendliness, and so they enjoy life better. They come nearer to God and experience bliss and blessedness. Let no one imagine that God's grace has not come to him. God's grace, like the wind, is blowing everywhere. Intrepid sailors spread the sails and make rapid progress on the ocean of spirituality, whereas the lazy remain where they are. The devotee is assured that the Lord is in them and they are in him. This is due to the devotion of the aspirant. The Lord is like the fire in the cold ocean. The nearer one moves towards it, the warmer he feels. The farther away he is, the colder does he feel. This is the natural law. The Lord states very clearly that He lives in the hearts of His devotees who worship Him with love and devotion. Such a man is the very temple of God. They are God Himself because the Lord is directly manifest in them. Single minded devotion leads man to the Supreme Lord, who is present in all beings and who manifests himself in the heart of true devotee. Question: how does God look upon all beings? Answer: He is the same to all beings. Question: why then do some people suffer and others enjoy life? Answer: it is the result of their own actions. Those who worship the Lord enjoy life, others suffer. Question: how is the Lord to be worshipped? Answer: with devotion. Question: where does God manifest Himself? Answer: He manifests Himself in the hearts of the true devotees. In all beings, the Lord exists in Sat, but to those of devotion, He reveals Himself and gives them moksha.